Hello, Spirit House here. I am reading The Secret of Light by Russel, and it's chapter 14, entitled Motion Simulating Rest. This electric universe of motion forever moves to find rest, but never finds it. Matter in violent motion simulates rest and balance through violent motion. The more violent the motion, the greater is the illusion of rest and balance. Motion can cease, but it can never become rest. This make-believe universe. The entire dynamic wave universe of electric matter is not what it seems to be. Everything which seems at rest depends upon violent motion to make believe it is at rest. A wire wheel could appear to be a steel disc if spun fast enough. The faster it is spun, the more at rest it would seem. This planet, seemingly at rest, is in violent motion around its centering point of rest from which it is electrically extended. Seemingly motionless clouds, floating above the earth, are rotating with it at a tremendous speed of 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, or 4 times faster than a plane. All the planets are revolving swiftly around their central sun, which seemingly stands still in the heavens of space, but in fact is moving with incredible speed. Likewise, all the stars of night, simulating rest, are moving at terrific speeds to adjust their mutual unbalances in this dual universe of divided pressure. The pencil in one's hand, the desk upon which one is writing, the room full of motionless things, seeming to be at rest, are but simulating rest through violent motion of their many parts. Tremendous vibration may be in that glass paperweight. Not one thing could manifest the rest it simulates if it were not for the incredible speeds of those atoms which so incessantly rotate and revolve to make that seeming restfulness possible. Even still things are not still. All seemingly still matter is manifesting make-believe rest by make-believe motion. Motion itself is an illusion. The motion one senses in one's brain has no more reality than the motion which one senses in a motion picture. The seeming motion of the cinema is caused by sequences of changing pattern forms projected on the screen, which give the impression of motion because of the rapid change of pattern in the negatives. That self-same illusion applies to the material universe. And a caption from the Divine Iliad. Without change, my play of creation could not be played, nor its actors be. Behold, therefore, the changing universe of my imagining, the seeming universe of my thinking. And again I say that there is no change in me, the changeless one. So also is there no change in my thought universe of pairs of opposed things, which forever interchange to simulate my universe of change. Even the seeming changing of my thought universe is not change, save for senses of sense things which are bound to pairs of parts of wholes. Each pair wendeth its way through the interchanging pressures of its electric journey. Each appeareth, then disappeareth, to reappear. Even those senses of sense things sense changing in all things, they change not to conscious knowing. Wherefore be thou slave to sensing, rise above thy sensing, be me in thy knowing. From the Divine Iliad. Chapter 15. The Illusion of Change. Change is an illusion of the senses due to motion. There is no change whatsoever in the conscious universe of knowing. There is only an illusion of change set up by two interchanging lights of thinking to divide the one whole idea into many separate ideas and record them in moving matter. The senses are the audience for these thought pulsations. The senses are a part of this illusion. Senses are electric. They belong to the thought universe of motion and do not respond to stillness. As motion itself is non-existent, so also are senses non-existent. The senses are but the imagined records of imagined motion, matter, and change. As such, they are limited to the pinhole peaks into the vastness which extends beyond their sensing. The senses have no knowledge of what they sense. They merely record motion. The senses respond to motion in only one direction. They sense the forward flow of time, but not its backward flow. If they could register both directions, they would become aware of the stillness of this zero universe of seeming motion. The Universal One planned it this way. Otherwise, there could be no sequential manifestation of thought which constitutes the creating universe. When our knowing exceeds our sensing, we will no longer be deceived by the illusions of our senses. A man seeing a technicolor motion picture for the first time and without knowing of such electric effects would think he were looking through a window at real happenings, unaware that it was but an illusion created, quote unquote, by projecting positive light through pattern negatives. That is all that creation is, two lights projected through each other to simulate motion, form, and change. Our senses are like passengers on a fast-moving train. They sense part of the landscape as they rush forward. While, to their senses, the landscape rushes backwards. The senses interpret these effects of matter in fast motion, which is forever fast changing. A man, seeing the same train from a mountain, would sense that same fast motion and fast change as changeless and still. As man unfolds from sensed man to spiritual man, he gradually becomes aware of the two-way motion of all effect. That two ways being the visible effect which responds to his senses and the invisible effect which he knows but does not sense. Gradually the time arrives in his unfolding when his full awareness of cause voids all reliance upon sensation. He then rises above his sensing. He then knows the universe of motion for what it is instead of for what it seems to be. I'm sorry, let me repeat that paragraph. He then rises above his sensing. He then knows his universe of motion for what it is instead of for what it seems to be. And a caption from the Divine Iliad, of course, at the end of every chapter. See thou no more with outer eyes alone, for thou hast knowing eyes to void the illusions of thy sensing. Throughout long eons, man hath walked his earth with eyes of outer seeing, giving belief to that earth of his body's sensing. Throughout his new eons he must walk the earth of inner seeing, and knowing me in it as but visioning it in the light of me and light of him. For I think earth, and earth appeareth, disappeareth, and reappeareth in balanced rhythms of my thinking. Wherefore I say, man's earth and man are but my imagining, to come and go with my imagining. It is not me, nor is it him, nor is it even what it seems to be to him. Nor shall man longer place earth before me, gaining aught of earth and not of me. For I am a patient God. I patiently await awakening man. Awakening man is he who knoweth the light of me in him. Man may choose his own eons for his awakening, but know me he must. Until that day, man's agony of unknowing shall be man's alone. His knowing must be his own desiring. Knowing man is a static cosmic man. He who beginneth to know me in him, yea, even him who suspecteth me in him, hasteneth his unfolding to cosmic man of all knowing. From the Divine Iliad.